Hello girls, gays, theys, and any straight men who clicked on this video. Was that on purpose or? Today I'm trying something new on the channel, and that is the waking, oversaturated nightmare that is reality television. Specifically, Love Island USA, or as I now call it, Situationship Island. Cause let's be for real, there is no love on that island. Which is what brought me here today. Now, I've been a loyal Love Island watcher. I started watching both the UK and USA versions during the pandemic and have kept up most years since. Cause get this, I have no life. I did also start watching Love Island Australia when I found out that there were girls kissing girls over there, but that lasted like exactly 2 episodes, and then my trust was so betrayed that I simply never watched another episode ever again. And you may be wondering, why now do I feel the need to open my thin, fillerless lips on the subject? And I'll tell you, I don't know, I thought it'd be fun, I don't know. Last year, after a boom in the US season's ratings following the launch of its now cast of stars, it felt like the world was finally turning its attention to Love Island USA. Cause let me tell ya, I was there before, and it was crickets, bruh. What do y'all know about Justine, Cachet, Camilla, right? Right, see, that's what I freaking thought. Differently, with this season of the show, people came ready to be tuned in. Now, to me, part of what made the magic of season 6 was the fact that the cast members were going on there thinking that nobody was really paying attention to them, because in previous years, nobody really was. And with that, to me, came more sincere intentions. I do believe that the majority of that season 6 cast were there to find love. And with all 3 sets of finalists still in their respective couples to this day, I think they succeeded. Now, however, castmates went into the season knowing that viewership for the show had skyrocketed. An instant ticket to fame, which to me kind of shows. Part of why I love Love Island is because of the psychology of it all. That could be said of most reality TV shows, especially like with a focus on partnership, but I find it fascinating to see the dynamics of these individuals, like how they evolve or how they reflect the socio-political climate of their respective times. And you know that this is dead-ass facts for real, because I said socio-political. Yeah. And that leads me back to the why. To me, there are some pretty clear differences in the motifs and criterion of this season of Love Island USA compared to its predecessor. And as you may have guessed from the title, I don't really like it. Like, I don't want to be mean, but it's also kind of a pile of shit. So stick around if you want to learn more about sort of this divergence in formula, as well as what I dislike about this season and what I think that says about just where we're at. And I've divided this video by sections, so I can go ahead and throw up a screen right now for a second. But not literally 1 second. Put it back, put it back. The bit's not funny, put it back. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it and getting a good look? Okay, phenomenal. I will be hopping into my interdimensional voiceover void, so I'm gonna be in there for the rest of the video. And maybe see you at the end, maybe? Promise? Before we get into the relationships between the cast members on a more individual level within the villa, it's important to know the distinctions between Villa 6 and 7 before any contestants even set foot there. Remember, the cast members weren't the only ones with more at stake this go around. Such is the case for production as well. Hot off the tails of their biggest season ever and desperate to recapture the drama and relevance it had previously sustained. Now, first and foremost, the casting. Whoever was in charge of casting this season, I'm trying to think of a polite way to say girl what the fuck, but I think I'll just have to settle for a girl what the fuck. And this is what we know of the batch outside of the villa, mind you. Let's get a look at the lineup. Ulyssa, slur user, Trump supporter. Austin, Trump supporter. Charlie, Zionist. TJ, Andrew Tate supporter. Sierra, slur user. Elon, Zionist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 flops off the bat. And that's just what we know, because it could easily be worse. And before any of you go saying that it's not political, hey, everything's political, especially given the current context of our country. Interestingly, Ulyssa was kicked out after just 1 episode when easily accessible clips of her using the N slur on a podcast went circulating. And I'm just like, how did nobody clock this in casting? I'm sure this was so easy to find, this was public. Meanwhile, Sierra's later use of the C slur, while not surfacing until week 4, did not see such instantaneous forward movement. And I think production just took so much longer with this one because they were in so deep with her at that point in the show. And if anything, hers might be worse. She claimed before her latest sets of fillers and surgeries that she was having her brows lifted because of how her eyes looked when she smiled. Essentially translating to, I'm having surgery to not look like this race of people. Interesting. After about a week of fan outrage, she too was removed from the show, releasing this statement shortly after.
Because I am not the victim in this situation, but also anyone around me who was accidentally holding space for this slur.
Love Island, cast me instead. Cast me. I have a long and easily accessible digital footprint, and I swear on my life you won't find anything mean. Just a lot of weird stuff. Then there are the contextual and post-production choices that were made this season. Multiple people have called out the show for its misleading editing, catching compounded cuts and calling them out.
I can't believe they didn't show. What the fuck? Hey, yeah, I know, but...
Now, I understand that with hours and hours of footage, not everything can make the cut. However, the problem is when you start splicing things together in a way that's just misleading.
Now the sunglasses are back, and where'd they go now? Now they're back on her head.
Like here, an instance that arguably makes Amaya seem like more of a crash out. Or here, an instant that arguably makes Huda seem like more of a crash out.
Amaya's talking to Chris, Huda's just sitting like this, chilling. Making it look like she's pouting. She's not. She's sitting like this. She's not sitting like that. And now she's not. There she is, back on a pink pillow. And now she's not.
Not to say that she isn't a crash out, and like we'll circle back. We're gonna be circling back to that. Viewers also notice entire conversations being left out. Or Nick's later after Sun aired card read, where 4 different Islanders call him out for leaving piss all over the toilet seats. Obviously they're gonna prioritize drama and rage bait. That's just the way of things in reality TV. But we shouldn't be questioning if the scene playing out in some way is real or not. And that leaves the structural base for the show, being challenges and recouplings. First, I gotta say, that episode where the contestants are pouring milk from their mouths and down each other's throats? Disgusting! Maybe I'm just silly stomached, or maybe whoever was into this is a nasty freak. There were barely any recouplings the whole season too, the same of which could be said of the dates. The heart rate challenge was reformatted into pairs, which was so boring. The Twitter challenge seems to not be making a comeback, and most devastatingly, we got no movie night. The Hideaways brought up once in the middle of the show, and then I think maybe there are 2 more uses in the final week. And Casa Amor, the biggest deal of every season meanwhile, was a fucking snooze fest. Instead of letting real connections build and then having those split Islanders decide whether or not they want to make the big reveal with their new partners, instead they just all come back together instead. But I can't really blame production here because they were just working with what they had. A cast of non-committal influencer wannabes. How are you supposed to raise the stakes for this separation when none of the couples even like each other? Again, think back to last season. Think of the stakes, people. What is this? You know what? Bring back the milk regurgitation because it's disgusting, but at least I'm still conscious. Then, as a general note, there's the sheer lack of whimsy and joy. While I get that the people we're working with don't touch the authenticity of previous castmates, they do still have some silly moments, or footage where they're getting along. But those are all put in After Sun specials now, so we really just get shown this.
Get a secret vendetta.
Come, let's just I understand that. Okay. But what I'm saying is that no, you're a fucking bitch.
Like closed off.
Okay, I got bored somewhere in my scripting here, so we're just gonna go ahead and pack it up. On to the next we go. Let's just rip this band-aid off, shall we? Just know, because I will have negative things to say about the girls, that it comes nowhere close to this flop extravaganza. But you know, props to the casting directors for going to the depths of hell to fish these guys out themselves. The misogyny from the men this season really shines through. Awesome! Largely because of Cerberus over here leading the charge, with like Nick and Taylor being the mutated heads on either side. Right off the jump, Ace always has something negative to say about the women. First, he continually targets Huda for closing out with Jeremiah. Just a little bit interesting since he was all up in her likes before the show. And he also didn't ever take accountability for this. Then it's Jeremiah. He doesn't explore and Ace tweaks out.
I feel like it's hard for y'all to tell me for 2 weeks to go explore. If I don't give Iris the time of the day, I'm still in the wrong. Now, if I do give Iris the time of day, I'm in the wrong because I had a strong connection with her.
Then he does explore, and Ace votes him off. Next, he goes for Amaya. He disrespects her both behind her back and in front of her face while they're together. Moreover, he goes on to later hype up Austin to hate on her publicly and for no reason.
The intensity of your emotions and feelings.
So I'm tired of people viewing that as a negative instead of a power move.
Time out.
Sensitive gangster! Come on!
And then there's all the back talk with his boys. The first 3 quarters of the series become almost unbearable to watch, what with this little guy thinking he owns everyone and everything in the villa.
I'm gonna speak my mind because I'm a leader.
Which is why the historic humbling of the ranking episode was just so fun to watch. In fact, I think the only time I ever perceived Austin positively was when he called out the boys for being his lapdogs. Taylor. It's funny that as viewers of the show, maybe I'm speaking on my own behalf, but I felt like it was pretty obvious through Taylor's body language and verbal language that he was sort of playing Alandria.
If the physical attraction there, physical attraction there. If it's not there, it's not there. Like, I don't even know how to even get that physical attraction.
While that was not so much the case for the Islanders.
I pick Clark.
He never liked this woman, and instead of just communicating, he sits on it for 3 weeks until he gets Clark in his lap. And then, just like the other men, he villainizes Alandria for standing up for herself. Loser behavior. He's not like Pepe. Not you, Pepe! Never you, Pepe. Because Pepe knows how to have the difficult conversations, even when they're uncomfortable in the moment. Take note, instead of just breadcrumbing these girls. He can't feel the spark with Grayson, and he says so. He doesn't want to pursue Andrina, he says so. He's kinda boring, I said so. Sorry, I had to announce myself, but I didn't want to frighten anybody. As of yesterday, Iris and Pepe broke up, and the streets are saying it's because he cheated on her. So, never mind. Also, nobody look at my roots. We're in a recession. On the flip side, we get the audacity of Austin. Let's just call him tattoo offender number 3. The way tattoo offender number 3 treats these women in the villa is just like lame as hell. When Amaya asks him directly if she's doing anything to make him uncomfortable, he lies, gaslights her to her face, and then humiliates her when he gets the chance to gang up on her with the boys. Same with Zach and that I need to take a breather.
Want to stand on business in front of his boys.
From the get-go, Amaya asks him about his boundaries and he chooses her over Alandria because Alandria isn't interested in being physically intimate with him. Amaya checks in with his feelings and he lies, like Austin, only to later dogpile her in front of
his
the boys, saying actually he never wanted to kiss her. Actually, he never really liked her from day one, so... And that was just one episode after he said that he really doesn't like to air grievances with his partners in front of others. Liar! And also, loser! Nick. Oh, Nick. To me, there are 2 Nicks. Nick BC before Sierra and Nick AC after Sierra.
Were you ever planning to tell me about your kiss with Bella and Soul Ties?
Nick BC loves to string on multiple girls, but hates when the roles are reversed. Bella confirmed post-dumping that he made her out to believe he'd pick her, and based on his speech, I do think he was going to. But then he just couldn't resist his quote-unquote unforgettable moment with Sierra, or as he told his boys, being unable to stop her from mounting him. He wants to know every girl there, but the second a remote threat pursues Sierra, he's closed off. But like, closed off in the way that like they're not gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend or anything serious out of the villa. Like they're really not sure if they're gonna do anything outside the villa, but like he doesn't want her being with anyone else until then. As far as the Nicolandria propaganda, yeah, actually, I'm eating that up. Those last 7 episodes, we see a sensitive, well-mannered, chivalrous horn dog, and I love it. The way Nick cherished Alandria was beautiful to see for all 5 seconds we got to see it. Some may say he's disingenuous, this is part of an act. I would really like to believe from everything I've seen outside of the villa that this is not the case. I don't think he really liked Sierra that much, to be honest. I don't know, the way he lights up around her, it's different.
Do you feel like Alandria and Nick's relationship is real? Is this you thinking, or is this your answer?
Side note, they'd hate to see me in that villa, because what do you mean I'm on a whack-ass sleep schedule, and the few hours I get are in a room with 19 people, 2 of whom are... Brian. Brian can be summarized by users Brie Clown and Malenzi Slut on Reddit. He literally said one sentence and became my fave, that's how bad the cast is. Yeah. Initially, when I started scripting this, I had a whole section on how well Chris holds himself. Now, I need to emphasize, I don't think within their dynamic that Huda always moved right. In fact, she frequently moves wrong, and we'll be circling back. The interrupting, the faces, the momming him. I understood not wanting to be outwardly physical after everyone aired her drama out, but then staying freaky in the sheets with him while refusing to be physical publicly is where I would disagree. With that being said, this guy stinks! Chris is so avoidant. Chris is every man who decides that he doesn't like his girl anymore, which we see episodes before the end, but then instead of actually voicing that disinterest, he continues being disengaged and cold up until the girl dumps him, making him the poor and innocent victim. He's disappointed when Brian tells him to fight for the relationship, and so he stonewalls Huda. Yeah. And then he makes her declare it over. I just think ignoring your partner and not communicating when they come to you honestly and making a point to show that you don't care about them in front of others and treating them the way he did in that finale, I'm sick to my stomach, bitch. Like this clip when he gets back from their final date, sort of implying like, well, I tried, I fought for that relationship. Bro, you literally hate her.
Like listening to what I was trying to say,
Remember earlier when I said that I liked what could be translated through seasons of television? Well, this season does a great job illustrating the horrors of the dating scene in 2025. I'm in those trenches and I can confirm that tragically, this is the state of things right now. Men do not want to commit. A week from the finale and we have no actual couples. Zach telling Amaya she could use her legs to go and talk to him herself. These men want to be chased. Prioritizing the girls who are overtly sexual and easily agreeable, it's predictably lustful. Villainizing women for showing their emotions, red pill behavior. Gleefully telling their boys one thing and then their partners the other, weird.
When it comes to Amaya and saying about how you feel about her and you telling us a story, she gets a whole different side of Austin.
I mean, that's because I wasn't really decided. Right. You know, I speak to you guys on emotion.
It's pretty clear.
Deciding they don't like their partners, but then making their partners figure it out, avoidant. And then notice how all the boys changed their tune after finding out that Amaya is the nation's favorite? Yeah, clock that, because I did.
That wasn't in my parlay.
That wasn't your parlay?
Period. True.
Clark it. Clarked. Together, their vibe gets so icky that the show becomes almost painful to watch by episode 15. Before later getting their egos checked by America, it's scary. It was around this point that I stopped watching the show at all for entertainment purposes, just abandoning joy entirely and instead settling for a full-blown anthropological case study, because what the fuck else was I supposed to do?
I took one for your ass today.
I appreciate you, gangster. What did you do?
When I was like, when I said which island is trying too hard, and I picked Amaya, I took one for his ass.
We were seeing the effects of the Stanford prison experiment manifest in these islanders' brains in real time.
I'm not going for that bullshit. You
What's
lying.
the bullshit?
You lying,
What am I lying about?
To me. Off the rip,
Like
that's
someone
scamming.
is scamming?
And the groupthink of the, well, if three of the worst people you've ever witnessed on reality TV don't like this girl, then clearly it's the girl, right?
The pattern keeps on repeating itself and everybody's saying the same fucking thing. It's not everybody else.
It's not everybody else. Actually, it is. Because get this.
For sure playing basketball with the guys.
Oh. Oh my god.
To men, that's so scary for a woman to just be vulnerable and for her walls to be down.
What awful, insecure, uncommunicative, nonchalant losers. Now comes the sisterhood. The sisterhood. Circling back to season 6. Again, one of the reasons it flourished in the way it did, on screen and in its ratings, was because of the friendships built between the women on that island. Beyond the more forward-facing dynamics, they were all there for each other when the going got rough. Like here, or here, or here. There's none of that this season. I'd say the only girls in that villa were Amaya, Bella, and Iris. Maybe Hannah? I don't know, she got kicked off so soon. I don't know, I'm sorry, girl. The others all repeatedly at different points talk badly about one another behind each other's backs, and I don't like it.
Iris moves so weird to me.
You think so?
Yes. Over here, I'm a girl's girl. No the fuck you're not.
And if I may just say, Bella being the first to be kicked from the island was a sign of the times. Just stop. That's a warning. She's warning us. Well, yes. After setting aside her boundaries to become physical for Nick, she was immediately given the boot. And if that wasn't setting the tone for the rest of the season, Girl. Alright, so arguably the biggest thing from this season, at least from my perspective on socials, was the infamous Huda crash out. And also Huda herself. Now, there's no doubt about it when it comes to making reality TV that people want to watch. For drama purposes, Huda is a great addition to the cast. For the well-being of not just the castmates, but her own mental health, I have some concerns. Now, I know that fans of the show are very divided on this topic. Some saying her behavior in earlier episodes was inexcusable, while others claim that the bullying she faced after the fact went way too far. And I know it's a point of contention, so I'll try to make this part as quick as possible. I do think two things can be true. I do not like girls who derogatively call other girls bitches, or who behave this way toward women. I don't. Especially under the guise that they themselves are the quote-unquote most mature girls, because no, you're not. And much like the rest of the over-exaggerated responses earlier on, it was unwarranted. Was Jeremiah giving the signs indicative of a love bomber? Yes. Does that mean that this was cute or deserved? No, to me, there's always a victim to blame somehow, and somehow it's also never her. And maybe it's not always her, but it's the fact that it's never her. At the same time, following Jeremiah's dumping, there was a clear difference in Huda's behavior with the girls. She's more level-headed, she's receptive of their feelings, and supportive of them even when they're with her quote-unquote man. For example, I thought it was pretty mature to encourage Shelly to go for Chris, her only option. And girl drama aside, it doesn't change the fact that I think she would really benefit from therapy. I'm not saying that as any sort of insult. Therapy is an important and beneficial resource for most people, including myself. It's clear, though, where her other unregulated behavioral patterns actively come in the way of her own happiness. Like when this creates problems with Chris later on. But with all of this being said, I also won't make excuses for the commentary that she cycles through beneath the Islanders.
Why is she looking over here?
Oh, I think she thinks we're staring at her.
Yeah, we're not.
Like, I don't really care that she spent the morning not talking around the girls after being ostracized by every one of them the night before, to be honest. This was the consequence of the season's second biggest discourse, being her and Shelly's fight. There are so many details of this, and I believe they are gonna be airing the, full clip, which is good, because, girl, I don't know what the fuck is going on. From what I've seen with my own eyeballs, right? Would I have done what Huda did? No. No, I think there's a level of decorum, but also, where are we? This whole thing was just so... Was Huda the only one putting her ass up in people's faces and giving this energy? No. Would I have reacted in Shelly's way? No. Do I ultimately really give a shit? No. Nah. But I think where Shelly lost me here was how she popped off on Huda for this, but didn't have a word to say to her man who was eating it up. Like literally eating it up. And I just think that the girls who can keep the heat for other women but never hold their man accountable, it's giving male-centered. Me again. The clip did in fact drop. I would say it does not strengthen Shelly's case. In fact, I fear it does not look good for Ace. With that being said, I still think Shelly should have been in the finale. Iris. She's a sweet girl. I thought she should have left when TJ did. What? Nobody fucking leaves this season. No one leaves when their partners leave. We don't get to see too much of her, probably because she's not running her mouth for screen time, and that's all I wrote for that. Sierra, not a girl's girl. She voted to have her quote-unquote bestie and their strongest couples dumped.
She was wearing your dress?
That was my dress, yeah. I'm getting sent home with somebody else wearing my dress.
No, you got sent home with your dress on her?
And then back standing behind the man, terrorizing her best friend because it's what Nick would have wanted. And apparently she can't make her own decisions. I don't like it, nor do I buy it. And it's also incredibly hard for me to believe her apology was sincere, given that she's still milking any relevance she can whilst claiming that she was painted as a villain by the show. There's being painted as a villain, and then there's just being held accountable for your actions. I think the show actually painted you pretty great. I think you were probably a fan favorite and thought very highly of yourself up until the point that you got kicked out for being a racist. Okay. Next. Alandria. Keep in mind, I love her down, and after Amaya, she's my bias. However, on 3 separate occasions, she spills secrets she'd sworn to keep, but then confidently ranks herself second most trustworthy behind self-ranked Shelly. And don't get me wrong, that rat Taylor put her through the ringer, but singling out your girlfriend for kissing the guy she's coupled up with in front of the entire villa after they all just ganged up on Amaya. The vibes this season, y'all, it was rancid. And mind you, none of the girls spoke up when Amaya was getting bombarded by the guys. My girls from season 6, they would have never stood for that. Some have been saying that, you know, like, her switching up and taking her best friend's man makes her not a girl's girl. But I fear Sierra burned that bridge herself. So, once more, beyond the televised drama, I'm not trying to be a hater of these girls, but to say that in their battle to deem themselves girls, like the lingo just flies around so much this season, none of them actually are.
Speaking of you kissing everyone's man, were you surprised that her and Jeremiah?
So not only do we see a lack of sisterhood within the clickiness that the women adhere to this season, but also within their ability to actually stand up for each other and themselves. That's why Nick initially liked Sierra, because she docilely agreed with everything he did and said, and she's Amy Dunn level cool girl. Like, remember when Rob tells Leah that she's such a cool girl, she's not like other girls, for letting him play actively in her face with another woman. Yeah, like that. Rob stands, you are not safe here. Rob, like Huda, makes for excellent television. Our final 4 couples. What the hell are we doing here? We've got 4 couples. One started barely 2 weeks ago, and the others barely 1. When in Love Island history has this ever been the case? One of the couples actively hates each other and breaks up in the finale. Again, I ask, when has this happened? Some may say it's excellent TV. I say it's a humiliation ritual. I don't care if Ace isn't my vibe. He and Shelley deserved a spot on that podium because let's remember where we all are. Love Island.
Who set that system up?
Man. The winners end up being a bombshell and a Casa guy, which I'm not complaining about, but again, it's so rare on the show. I mean, Nick is like the only OG guy in there by the end, which is crazy. And I just pictured like a normal person listening to these sentences. I believe Amaya and Brian, despite the shorter relationship, have a good shot. Hey! So Amaya and Brian broke up as well. I don't know why yet. Nick and Andrea, I'm hoping with every fiber in my insane body, have a great shot too. The others? This was Iris and Pepe's epic final date, and she's asking if he actually likes her. And I'm asleep with a half-eaten pizza on my belly.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, I know you will.
What the helly? As for the dumpies, they all jumped to it on socials, milking their clout on live streams, podcasts, watch parties, as well as linking together in shared houses to make content.
Y'all keep that. Joke is, I stack my money now, y'all can't reach that.
And that's not to say that previous Islanders didn't, participate in ads or brand deals, but who of them who's in love? Who went on that show for love? And therein lies the problem. Now that it's America's hit summer series, every contestant sees a spot on the show as a ticket to fame. And to me, that shows. Between the cast members voting out strong pairings, self-declared strong couples not leaving the island together like they used to, and fans choosing to keep on people who don't like each other, it becomes a hard watch at multiple points. But what's more than that, the cast is frequently unlikable as people. But this is Love Island, not who do you like most as people Island. Yeah, well, there was no love on that island, so we had to find someone to root for. Someone like... Now, listen here, for all the shit I have to say about this season, I love Amaya. I love Amaya so much, she gets her own video section. She's authentic, true to herself, playing no games, and never cliquey or anything but lovely to her sisters. Also, she knows how to stand on business. So let me get this straight. The show is called Love Island, and the men are mad at her for looking for love. Right. Austin, the pool boy?
Alright. Do you not understand what a chance to air stuff out is?
Because but what I'm saying is that
like you do.
no.
What in the fucking microaggression was that? Now you're saying she moves too fast, but earlier you bragged about sleeping with how many girls? 104. Right. Clark it. After winning the 100K, she announced her plans to donate her share of the winnings because, and get this, it's a true fact, her heart is filled with magic fairy dust. In her final speech to America, Amaya said this.
To everyone out there who's misunderstood, nobody should ever be tamed, and that there's always someone out there for you who's going to love you for you.
And I did this. To me, she saved the season with her raw authenticity, colorful soul, and gratitually. And to see a Latino couple win in Trump's America, fuck it. I'll take it. That's gonna be all from me on Love Island Season 7. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like, please. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on the season down below, but keep it respectful, of course, because I know some of y'all can be fucking crazy. Any and all hate speech will be deleted, so just don't. Until next time, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting my channel and making this happen. And thank you for watching this stupid shit. Love you and persist despite the horrors. Bye!